Welcome to 2024. We're in 2024. Can you believe it? We've made it. The best year in gaming was 2023, so we've all experienced, and who knows what 2024 has to offer. I certainly am hoping for a better year in gaming. That's my hope, and I caved. I absolutely caved. For those of you who saw the video, of which I deleted only a couple days after, I was telling everybody that I saw a sale for the Xbox Series X that was $350, and I have mentioned many a time that I don't even use my Xbox anymore. But as we go into 2024 and I strive to make this very place the best place for people to experience all gaming, from PC gaming, which is going to be pretty much the dedicated effort this year, all the way up to, the Switch or the new Nintendo hardware that we're bound to get, I figured I might as well go ahead and get one of the consoles that is very popular, the Series X. And so I went ahead and purchased it again. Now, there could be a significant amount of redundancy when it comes to the Series X, especially once I end up getting a PC. I could be sitting here with two pieces of hardware, a Series S and a Series X, because I am not going to sell off the Series S. And I'll be sitting here going, gosh dang it, why did I get myself the Series X and it's just sitting collecting dust? Well, I did do it for a couple things. One, $350 for a Series X is ridiculous, but two, I figured that information, right? Data, as much data as possible. And the very same reason why I got myself a Steam Deck or any of these things is I want to learn as much as I can about all the different hardware that's out there. And so while I do a lot of comparison videos, and I've done comparison videos in the past, I don't know how this will incorporate into what's going on here, but I'm sure that we'll see some of that in the days to come. I figured that one of the pieces of hardware that is important to consider is the Series X when building out a PC, because a PC is basically just a better version of an Xbox. I'm going to say it, because Xbox, most of the things on Xbox can be available on PC. So there's that. What are we expecting for PlayStation this year? Who knows? I don't really know what PlayStation has to offer aside from potentially Wolverine, I guess. New hardware is probably not going to happen. I'd be very surprised, especially because they dropped the PS5 Slim towards the end of last year. And so I don't expect to see this huge, giant shift in PlayStation's current offerings. And by shift, I just mean they're going to give us a new console. And then Nintendo. I'm hoping to see some new Nintendo. I'd love to see a new Nintendo product here in this year. I mean, there's a lot of rumors that are pushing us towards that, and I certainly would be excited to experience that. And I don't know how that would shape up as far as coverage. I've never really reviewed games before, so I don't see myself doing that, and I think that Wood over Beat 'em Ups is very, very good at that. I find that the best thing that I can do in this space is have conversations around video games, whether it's playing them, experiencing them, or the gear that is used to give you that experience. I think these conversations are pretty much going to stay pretty, hey, this is how it felt when I did it, or hey, take a look at what this looks like, or something like that. Because reviews, though they will exist here in this place in 2024, they're going to be just a little bit different, right? This place is a story. It's a long story, a story of myself, a father, a husband, a person who likes to play video games, trying to travel or traverse this grand landscape, which is video games, right? It started back in 2021 with console gaming, Nintendo specifically, because that's all I had in a PlayStation 4 that was just a little bit too brutal to use. And then now we find ourselves with everything under the sun, from a Steam Deck to a PlayStation 5 to an Xbox Series X, as well as a Nintendo Switch, and hopefully eventually whatever they have to offer this year. I really do, and then building a PC out, which is going to be the main focus, or not main focus, the main project that I'm going to undergo this year is learn everything I can about PC gaming. Because as it stands now, like, the Steam Deck has found itself into my bag almost every time I go out, and I can't say that about the Nintendo Switch anymore. I literally am going to my buddy's coffee shop, my brother, I call him my brother, his coffee shop, and I'm bringing my Steam Deck. I'm not bringing my Switch. I'm bringing my Steam Deck. Oh, by the way, a little bit different today. We're going with a little bit of sugar. This is a Columbia. This Columbia tastes a little bit like cardboard. So, as my wife said. So we're going to go a little bit of milk and sugar to see if we can make this thing taste a little bit better. That is 8 grams of coconut palm sugar, followed by 55 grams of our delicious, yummy whole milk. And then we'll just use the paddle to mix a little bit. Part of this is because the Columbia is not as tasty as I want it to be. Another part of it is because I want to drink this a little bit faster than I was before, or at least start drinking it, because it just gets so hot. And so this sounds good. Plus, milk and sugar and coffee is delicious. It's an ingredient, right? Purists are like, oh, black coffee only. Coffee's an ingredient. It's a delicious ingredient. It's like someone who eats steak, right? Some people are like, man, steak, salt and pepper, that's it. Sear on both sides, done. If you do anything else, you're talking nonsense. But what about the people who are like, yeah, salt and pepper and then rosemary, garlic, and butter and just keep going until the cows come home? Still delicious steak. Tastes a little bit different. The profile's a little different, but it's still an absolute delicious steak. What about Asmongold, who uses... I'm not going to go into his steak recipe, but like, you know, it sounds like a delicious steak. So, oh, you know what? That cleans it up. Now it tastes like milky cardboard. I'm just joking. And I'm not going to put this coffee shop on blast. I'm not even going to share who it is, because it's just not a good cup of coffee by itself. And that's a shame, because I feel like that's just too bad. This will be fine, though. With milk and sugar, it actually tastes okay. I'm not going to say it's the best thing I have. I think the best thing I have to offer myself right now is probably this guy from Portrait. This is the Kenya. That's a delicious coffee. I just got this Peru from Steady State towards the end of last year. Very good. I'm enjoying this. This Peru is nice. I got a lot. Oh, if you're interested in any of the coffee subscription services that not services, but the service I use, it's Trade Coffee or My Trade Coffee. I don't know. There's a link in the description below. I will always have that link there. That link gives you a few bucks off, gives me a few bucks off. I'm trying to get in contact with them for us to have a partnership this year. We'll see what happens there. I mentioned in a previous video that I wasn't going to use affiliate links, and then I had a long conversation with some friends and people, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to make this thing work for both of us. We're going to talk about video games. I'm going to answer your questions. You have questions in the comments, I'll answer them. You got questions on Discord, I'll answer them. I'll make videos about them. We'll talk about it. We'll go through this journey together. And if I find something that I particularly think is a good piece of hardware, I'm going to offer it to you guys and be like, this is great, as well as if I can make some affiliate stuff off of it, cost you guys nothing, and I can benefit, take some money away from the company and give it to me, hey, we're going to be good. Specifically with certain, companies I would love to do that with, but one of my absolute favorite companies ever is 8-Bit Dough, and they don't even have an affiliate program. So still, go out. If you want any cool controllers, go out and get their stuff. Their stuff is so sick. I just got their mouse, which I'm going to be honest with you, this is the N30 mouse. It's not ergonomic at all. Like, it is not comfortable, but it matches my keyboard and looks so gorgeous. And so this thing is pretty awesome to have on my desk next to my keyboard, and just looking at it makes me happy inside. But back to the gaming conversation. As it stands, I want to I always want to get better at what I do. I always want to get better at stuff. And if my subject matter is gaming, then there's more to be learned. And the perspective at which I want to come at this, okay, that's cooling down and it's starting to taste pretty good. That is a milk and sugar coffee. And that's okay, right? Just like there's certain cuts of steaks that you wouldn't eat you wouldn't eat a brisket, just salt and pepper only, and cook that in a pan. All right, brisket, you're gonna be doing a bunch of stuff. Same thing with like carne asada. You're not gonna eat carne asada without seasoning the crap out of it, or skirt steak, right? You're gonna be doing some things to it. And so with this cup of coffee, this one just needs a little help to get itself to a beverage that you would want to consume. It's not bad anymore. In fact, it's actually quite good with this milk and sugar, and I think it might be even better if I was to add some honey instead of the sugar I was using to bring out some of these higher tones, because the sugar just kind of mellows it out. Stuff to try next time. Back to gaming. The perspective I hope to bring is something of despite the fact that it looks irresponsible from the onlooker in because of the amount of money that's exchanged in this space, we have to also talk about the fact that this is something that I'm trying to do as a job. So there's a little bit of investment there and business purchases that happen, right? So like when I buy a computer, it's used for content. That content generates revenue. So maybe going out and buy, a $2,500, $3,000 computer is not the most practical thing to do. And, I fully understand that. But really the stories that I'm trying to tell, the conversations I'm trying to have are more geared around like what it feels like, right? So like right now, for instance, I've made this cup of coffee. It's delicious. It's about middle of the day, cup of coffee. And my kids are sleeping, right? I got just a few minutes to do a couple things. Work, get this shot, get this nice and ready to go. Not going to edit it, right? Still looking for an editor. But I'm going to try to make this work. I'm going to get this going. And then I'm going to use the rest of the time to sit in this space that I've curated for myself and enjoy some relaxing time playing video games and enjoying that craft of which I still participate in. And that's something that I think is okay for us as dads and husbands and hobbyists, whatever, to look at gaming as is it's totally something that can, let me give you an example. One of my best friends talks about how this craft, this thing we do, playing video games, how a lot of people demonize it. It's a waste of time. It's crazy. Well, then go out to wherever. Right? I'm not going to say, they'll go to bars. Who cares? They'll go out with their friends and they'll spend hours and hours and hours watching someone play baseball or football, right? And the participation in that sport is simply just watching. And some people watch all season. They watch multiple teams. It's all they talk about. And I don't see a big difference in the spectator of baseball, basketball, football, whatever it may be, soccer, and someone who participates in playing video games. I don't see a big difference at all. The community is very similar. People are passionate about certain things. Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, who cares, but some people really care about that. They're passionate about their certain franchises. They will do anything they can to experience a certain franchise, just like people will do anything they can to follow and go listen to their favorite band. Whatever it may be, I think that this craft that we participate in, this art form, this pastime, it's okay. Like, it's totally cool to spend 10 hours at work, come home, play with your kids for a couple hours, put them to sleep. Your wife is either watching something, you go, you know what, I'm going to go play some video games with the boys. That cool with you? She's like, yeah, dude, don't even worry about it. I'm just going to watch Gilmore Girls for the 4th time or something like that. My wife, right? Holiday season usually brings out Gilmore Girls. It's a great show, by the way. I enjoy it. And you go and play Call of Duty or Fortnite or Pokemon or Advance Wars or whatever it may be with the boys and have fun doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. And to anyone who's like, video games are a waste of time, I would go as far as to say that anything that you place in front of responsibility is an inappropriate balance, right? If you put video games in front of responsibility, if you put sports in front of responsibility, if you put going out and spending time with your friends in front of spending time with your children, right? Whatever it may be, that is a disproportionate way to allocate time towards responsibilities and hobbies. Video games is just a hobby. That's all it is. I don't know why it gets so much flack, and I certainly don't think that it should be given this much flack when it's an interactive hobby, right? Sure, you sit down to interact with it, but you sit down to interact with sports, dude. You go and play sports, sure, that's a different thing. I think the recreational activity, recreational sports, whatever it may be, important. I'm someone who stays active. I work out between, 45 minutes up to an hour and a half a day. Like, that's just what I do. But that being said, like, this experience of video games is just such a beautiful thing. I've been doing it since I was a little kid, and as I grow up and grow older, it's something that caters to me as an individual participating in this hobby. It's one of those unique hobbies that when you go out to like pick up a game you want to play, there's something for you. There's absolutely something for you. If back in the day you were a die-hard RPG fan, and as you get older you don't have time for 40 to 80 hours in a story, and you need something quick and easy like an adventure game, or something that's just like punchy and just like, you know, kind of hold your hand as far as getting yourself through the adventure with different waypoints, you just experiencing a story, like all of it exists under the sun. Or you just want to find a game that you can boot up, play with your friends for 20 minutes up to an hour a day, get a little bit, you know, of fun in there, some competitiveness, and you have some good times. Like, it's all there, and it's a beautiful thing. It's incredible, and you get to do that with your friends. You get to do that with new people that you met. I mean, this whole community that has been growing in the Discord, which is available to you if you just click on the link, is just that. A bunch of people, working professionals. We have nurses. We have ex-developers for some big studios. We have a guy in there who worked on Red Dead Redemption. I believe he actually worked on Red Dead Redemption 2. Could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have just a most, you know, kids in there who are just kind of figuring out how to balance life with school and video games, and is this something I should be doing, wrestling with that kind of stuff. Like, it's amazing and great, and just, as I use this word so many times, vibrant. And it's so exciting to see. And as I enter into 2024, breath of fresh air, a new beginning, a new start as far as the calendar year. I've been in the new year since November. You guys know this about me. Thanksgiving is my new year, but as far as calendar years are concerned, and also we know that the video game new year starts the day after the video game awards. Whether you love them or hate them, that's kind of when the year starts. But as we start and enter in January 1st, my birthday's in 3 days, right? January 4th, my birthday. You best believe there'll be a cup dedicated to that. Y'all should be drinking on that cup. Ooh, get the play mug, you know? I mean, I don't even know what I make off of this, to be honest. It is something I designed terribly, but play with HG, that's Happy Gaming. Drink with me. This is the first mug I ever got, and is, unless this thing breaks, no, even if it breaks, I'm gonna put like gold in it and just do the thing. This mug will be the forever mug. This is very special to me. There'll be more to come, you know, as we move forward, but this space is going to be the place where gaming exists, right? Gaming has no bias, okay? Yes, you see what would look like a bias here, but as I've used controversial terminology to gain some excitement around certain topics in the past, it's very simple. When it comes to video games, I want January 1st, 2024, I want the very first definitive statement about video games that I make to be, it truly does not matter what you use to interact with the game. It doesn't. Whether you use a Nintendo Switch all the way up to a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 PC setup with crazy audio and all this stuff, it does not matter. At the end of the day, all that matters is that you're enjoying your hobby the best you can. One of my favorite creators, Casey Neistat, talks about content creation. And all the time people talk about what is the best camera to use. And you'll see content creators all over the place talk about the best cameras to use. The best cameras to use, whether it's what I have right here in front of me, an R6 or an iPhone or anything in between. People are asking what is the best camera to use. And one of the best things he has said, and I've used it, this idea all the way down, and I think that it applies directly. And so today I'm going to apply it directly to video games. He says the best camera to use is the one you have on you. Dudes, thank you, Casey. So let's bring it to video games. Let's bring this idea to video games. Let's cross-pollinate all the different niches, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, these coffee talks, the way that we're going about this, first of all, this idea stemmed out of me watching a fitness influencer, Sam Solik. He just talks for an hour, you know? So I'm like, hey, if he can do it in fitness, I can do it in gaming. We sure need to calm down a little bit. So let's bring Casey, one of the most greatest vloggers of all time. Let's bring his verbiage to this, and let's talk about video games for a brief moment. Let's just say this. The best way to play video games is on the device that you have. The best way to play, well, Mario is on a Nintendo device. It's just, let's be honest, right? It's gonna be that way. But sitting here, and I know that this comes after I started this video talking about how I got the Series X even though I didn't need it. Okay, we're just going to remove my way of interacting with video games for a brief moment because I do a little bit more than experience it personally. It is something that I do as a service as well. Try to figure out what's going to be the best way for me to share these things with you. And so that requires me to go out and get stuff for research, right? The Lenovo Legion Go and the Asus ROG Ally are things that I'm hoping to acquire at some point. I'm just not willing to buy them. So I'm trying to reach out to these companies and be like, hey, can we do something together so that I can afford this? But as it stands now, all of my dollars and cents are going into PC gaming when it comes to purchasing hardware that is bigger than like something like a Switch 2 or whatever it may be. But when it comes to playing video games, the best way to play, you know, I don't know, like I'm trying to figure out like again, because I'm only thinking exclusives, which is really hard. But let me think of one. Jedi Survivor came out last year, or maybe year before last. The best way to play Jedi Survivor is not if you're sitting here with an Xbox Series S and be like, man, should I play it on PlayStation 5? No, play it on Series S, dude. You're fine. You're gonna be great. The best way to play, you know, Lies of P. Oh, should I play that on Xbox? I mean, if you have an Xbox, you have it in your subscription if you pay for Game Pass Ultimate, but if you don't have an Xbox, play it on PlayStation. Who cares? If you only have a PC, dude, play it on PC. You'll be fine. The console war that we've talked about is this versus that. Oh, these people are doing better than these people. Let's leave that for the other guys. Because at the end of the day, what we try to do here is this. Play video games, right? Like, that's what we do. And so, as we enter into this space, as I, a dad, and you guys too, you dads out there that are entering or continuing to play video games, let's keep a balanced approach, right? Let's keep it balanced. Making sure we're allocating time properly. Okay, spending the right amount of time with our families, you know, working on our spiritual lives, all these different things. Let's make sure we're allocating our time wisely and getting our responsibilities done. But by no means should you ever feel guilty if one weekend when you have time, you've done what you needed to do, and it's your time to spend with yourself, you think, I just want to boot up the PlayStation and run through maybe a classic. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. I see it no different than someone being like, hey, I want to go read one of my favorite novels. Sure, some people would be like, well, reading a novel is good for your brain. I'm not going to get into studies here and there because I don't know the science behind it. There has to be something with hand-eye coordination and attention span and problem solving that comes out of video games, but I'm just going to say this. Spending time doing what you love to do is important to do. Of course, properly allocated, right? Doing that right. But spending time doing what you like to do is important. Hobbies are important. Let's make this hobby a video game a great one this year. Let's have fun. Let's get excited. Let's play together. Discord. I'm going to mention it every video because the Discord has been booming these past couple of months. All because of you guys getting involved in enjoying this beautiful hobby together. And so my offer to you is join. It's free, absolutely free. I don't put it behind a paywall. There is memberships on this channel that exist that will, you know, when we go live, you'll get extra stuff. And it's always helpful for me. It's, you know, I think it's like $5 or something. If that's something you're into, hey, thank you. Streaming and stuff is going to be very few and far between. And that's primarily because I have 2 kids and a wife who goes to a job and I'm at home with the kids. And then when she comes home, in order for me to stream at night, I have to say that I don't get to participate in bedtime routine. And I started reading through my 3-year-old. We started reading through a toddler Bible with her. And so those evening times seem to be more important to me than streaming. And so really when it comes down to streaming, it's like weekends, rarely, because that means no time with the kids, or like once a week, I think, midday on a Monday. I think that's like my only options. We'll figure that out as time goes on. But again, if you want to be a member of the channel, all you're really doing is saying, hey, I support this place. Here is, I think they're going to give me $2 or $3, right? And so that's always nice. Aside from that, guys, I really am excited for this. I've gone back and forth many a time to figure out, is this the style? Is this how we're going to go about it? And every time I decide, you know what, we're going to change things up. And we're going to go back. We're going to get rid of this. This was a good experiment. I got some stuff. Someone, unsolicited, leaves a comment saying, I don't know what you're doing, man, but this new thing of you just talking is what I need. And to you, one person who says that, right? This isn't even the masses, but to you guys who say that, thank you. Thank you so much. It means a ton to me. It keeps me going because as you can tell, the only thing I have in here to talk to is a plant, a lamp, some Mario toys, and like that's it. And you guys on the other side of the camera. So I'm gonna wrap this one up. That was actually a really good cup of coffee after it cooled off a little bit. I'm happy about it. I'm gonna share with my wife that the Columbia has been revived because it wasn't tasting the best at first. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a good year, guys. I'm so stoked to do it with you.